Beef stew. Of all the assignments to receive. I sincerely hope I don't mess this up.
Is there an issue here I should be aware of?
It's not the assignment. It's me. I have a tendency to doze off without warning, and if it happens while I'm boiling something for dinner, which it has several times, the entire pot ends up in an inedible mess.
Ah, you did mention that your recurring drowsy spells were what compelled you to sign up for this course. I see you weren't exaggerating.
There are few things more dangerous than sleeping on the job while working in a kitchen. Has that ever caused a fire?
In Briar Valley, most of our cooking is done via magical means, which of course includes the fire we use to grill, steam, and sauté. Luckily, when I doze off, the magic I'm channeling ceases to be. As bad as my habit is, it's not actually much of a hazard.
So there's a built-in safety mechanism. Handy.
That, and my father handled the fire himself back when I couldn't produce any. If I nodded off, he'd take over and, well, let's just say he'd do his best. In my younger days, it never occurred to me just how much he did to keep me safe, so I took for granted that I'd be fine doing it on my own. There was one time I tried to cook using a traditional wood-burning fire when my father was away from home. It had been frigid all day, so I thought he'd appreciate coming home to some nice, hot pot-au-feu. I got the ingredients chopped, put them in the pot, and seasoned to taste without issue. But I may have grown complacent at that point, because I fell asleep with the fire still burning.
That sounds dangerous. This was specifically a non-magical fire, right? Don't keep us in suspense as to what happened next.
Well, I woke up before the worst could come to pass, but the liquid in the pot had all but evaporated. I panicked and added more water, but all that did was deglaze the charred bits at the bottom, making for an inky black disaster of a soup. My attempt at cooking was an abject failure, and the whole house smelled like smoke. I was still in panic mode when my father got home.
I'm guessing he gave you a stern talking to.
No, actually. He just smiled and said he was glad I was unharmed. I remember him saying that failure was the mother of all success, and that it was okay as long as I learned something from this. And then, he served himself up a heaping bowl of the mess, evidence of my negligence still floating in embarrassing bits atop his bowl. "This has a distinctive flavor profile all on its own," I remember him saying. But it really didn't. It wasn't remotely edible.
Your father sounds like a kind man indeed.
He is. I'm altogether proud to be his son.
I would have thought you'd learn how to cook from him.
He's quite proficient with swords and magic, but his cooking style is capricious. Suffice it to say that he's prone to taking liberties. What's more, he cannot, will not, settle on a unified flavor profile. Long story short, his example is not something I strive to emulate. I'm self-taught when it comes to cooking, but I've always settled for good enough to eat. The best I can do is chop up meat and vegetables, sauté them with salt and pepper, and occasionally use leftovers to make risotto.
Even being self-taught is impressive, you know. I wouldn't be able to do that without help.
Alright, you two. How about a little less chit-chat and a little more chop-chop?
Sorry. You're right. Those vegetables aren't going to dice themselves. I'll start by peeling the carrots.
Oh, you're pretty good at that.
I'm no stranger to knife handling. Next is the onions.
I'll be using onions in my own assignment as well, Silver. Could you show me how to peel them, please? Why are you both giving me bewildered stares? It's not that odd of a question, is it?
You just peel them by hand.
That's not what I was asking. It's hard for me to tell how much of the onion is the outer skin.
Oh, that's what you meant. The outer skin is the topmost layer, the part that's light brown. If it's white, it's for eating.
And if you see some that's part brown, part white, you can cut out the brown parts with a knife.
So just remove the brown parts? I'd rather not leave divots in it like some kind of barbarian.
You're very detail-oriented, Riddle.
It's fine. If part of the skin did make it into the final dish, the worst it would do is stick to the roof of your mouth. It's not inedible.
And you're far more haphazard than you look at first glance, Silver.
There. That takes care of ingredient prep. Now to melt some butter in the heated pot and brown the meat in it. Then we add the vegetables. Normally, this would be where I'd give it a pinch of salt and pepper and call it good.
And that would be a perfectly fine meal right there, if this was a sirloin. But shanks and tendons do a lot better with a good boiling.
So it's important to tailor your cooking method to the cut of meat? I had no idea. Chef, the onions are looking caramelized. Do you think that's enough browning time?
Yep, that'll do nicely. Now add the water and bring it to a boil.
This is it then. The moment of truth. I can only hope I don't nod off.
As luck would have it, I've got just the solution for a snoozy sort like you.
You do?